Touchdown. Touchdown. Touchdown, Hail Mary. Touchdown, Hail
Hey,
Mary,
what?
Devin.
We got to change the name of the Hail Mary. I think it's outdated.
What would you name it to if you could? But you got to keep it. You got to keep it in the religion sphere. You know what I mean? You got to keep it like
I was gonna say balls deep.
no, like I'm saying like maybe change to like like get really like meta, make it like a Scientology term. Was Epstein a Scientology? He was probably in Scientology, right?
The deep Jesus. No,
No, Epstein seemed
no.
like he'd be a.
I mean, he was definitely around and probably a lot friends with Scientologists. I'm not saying Scientologists don't do that type of stuff
You're
because they
telling me there
might.
weren't a lot of sign. You're telling me that I don't know. Look, I don't know much about that list. I don't know who was on that list, but I'm gonna guess there's probably some Scientologists on there.
I'm also of the understanding that there's no way that's a complete list.
What do you mean?
Like the list that came out is not the full entirety of everyone who's been a.
Oh, I was under. Oh, are you saying like there's more people that went?
I'm assuming so.
I was under the impression that there was more to come.
And there should be. Yeah. No, I don't think that's a complete list. So there may be Scientologists, maybe a Tom Cruise gets thrown in there, maybe a John,
Like a Hale Cruz,
a Hale Cruz.
a Hale
Nah,
McFarlane. He's a science. He's a weirdo Scientologist. Seth
Seth.
MacFarlane. Yeah,
Really?
he is like a well. I mean, you got to understand like when you get deep in the Family Guy iceberg, you realize that not only is his voice his normal voice Brian, but he pushes all his propaganda views, like all his
Through
views
Brian.
is through Brian, like all his atheism, Scientologist shit.
Conservatism.
It's there. It's there. You got to Brian's been to the island. You got to the Griffin family.
Have they ever made jokes about Scientology? I feel they have, no?
Probably. They make jokes about everything.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Either way, that's enough about that. Ladies and gentlemen, brand new episode. I'm sure you probably 2-3 minutes in, you've probably realized this is a brand new episode of On It. You got me, you got Devin. We got 4 games to predict. 4.
Yeah.
We spent the last like what? 5 months just predicting game after game after game. A bunch of them were I don't care who cares.
Sure, but it's good to have that many games to talk about. I enjoy that.
I mean, 17 of them were Commander games.
We could not. You can. Yeah, that's not funny.
And then
but
for like 17 other teams, at least one of them were for not 17. Either way, you know what I'm saying. Look, we got 4 very important games though. With all that being said, we have 4 very important games.
I shocked myself this year though. I didn't. Last year I picked Commanders almost every time out of sheer loyalty. I lost that loyalty this year for good reason because I would have been correct 4 times.
Yeah.
Had I picked us every time. So
yeah, no.
I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, I don't. Which I thought about that too. Like, did I ever pick? I don't know.
Did you ever not pick the Ravens this year?
I was thinking that. I don't know. Which
well, you didn't have a reason to because the games you guys lost were not games you should have lost.
I thought we were going to beat the Colts. I thought we were going to beat the Steelers twice.
Yes. Twice.
And then I thought we were going to beat the
Browns.
The Bros. Yeah, the Bros.
The Browns.
The Bros. Yeah, they're the Bros. For now.
No.
For now, they're the bro.
They got a fucking massage brother and a fucking dude who's beating people with helmets.
We got to watch Joe Flacco replace him, though.
Yeah,
and you
but
know what
Flacco's...
he did for the Ravens? Lost.
What? Who?
Joe. He just lost. Took the Browns to the playoffs. Lost.
Yeah, it's smart.
Shout out to Joe, man.
Joe did his thing, dude.
That's what I'm saying. Joe did his thing. But look, speaking of Joe doing his thing, Houston versus Baltimore, the first game of playoff weekend, divisional weekend. Okay, just off the rip, you don't even have to give me a prediction yet. what are you thinking coming to this game? Because I know you got to at least be like me and be a little, even if you're set on your prediction, a little skeptical on what could happen.
I mean, I'm aware of how good the Texans are. At the same time, it's not like they've shown dominance all year. Yes, they played a good game against the fucking Browns. But the Browns also shit the fucking bed and played like they haven't played in, like, they were playing good football toward the end. At the same time, they weren't playing too many fucking tough teams. I don't know. I feel like the Ravens would have to play like they haven't played in 3 weeks. 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
Play like they haven't played. Oh, I mean, all year.
No, like if they play like they're feeling the fucking effects of not playing, and the Texans are on their best, maybe a little bit better, then I feel like there's a shot. But if the Ravens can, I think the Ravens defensively can hold the Texans, and then all you guys need to do is just fucking pump up that offense a little bit. But I wouldn't say I'm too afraid of the Texans winning this game.
I mean, I think if we lock in, we, like you said, do what we do all year. We hopefully, if I mean Lamar and Harbaugh, just them alone know what happened in 2019.
Yeah.
They were on top of the world, got that bye week, and got brought back to reality real quick.
Sure.
And I think I think they're ready for it. Lamar was talking. I'm not gonna lie though. Now Lamar's putting pressure on himself though. He just came out.
He is.
He
but
said something like he was like, I'm not getting any younger. Like I need to win a Super Bowl now. Like I need.
No, I get that, but at the same time, I think mentally he's in a way better spot than he was in 2019.
I hope so.
I think he knows what has to get done to be in that position because he's been kicked out a couple of times already.
And this is the best team he's been on.
Exactly.
And Odell also said this was the best team from top to bottom he's ever been on.
He's been on.
Which I don't know if he's just saying that because he's on the team now.
No, it's true.
I mean, I'm saying I'll feel a lot better if he says that like after he retires. He's like, no, 2023 the 2024 Ravens was the best team I was on.
Well, the only team that could compete with this team is the Rams from 2 years ago.
Which I don't think. Yeah.
I don't think are better top to bottom.
They had a great receiver that had a great historical year that season.
And a decent defense.
Yeah, but nothing like the Ravens.
But this is the best defense that the league has seen in a bunch of years. And the offense is explosive. The running game's explosive. So
I'll say
the best team Odell's been on.
The second most important thing after winning is just staying healthy.
Yeah.
Mark isn't activated, but I'm assuming because I mean they were questioning whether or not he was playing this week. We win, we'll probably get Mark Andrews back AFC Championship game.
Sure, but at the same time, even if when he does come back, he's not gonna be the focal point of the offense immediately. It likely has been a beast. The receivers are starting to gel, and
it'd be great if Dalvin Cook
still a good.
If Dalvin Cook could come in and just have no rust and just
you got to think Dalvin's on and Melvin got cut.
Well, I mean, you have to cut.
You had to get rid.
But you got to think though, like we spent all offseason talking about Dalvin Cook as somewhere as a starter. Like he could go here and start here. He can go here and start here. He can go here and start here.
Yeah.
We were talking about like no, he's gonna go to the Jets and play with Aaron Rodgers, be the starting running back, yada yada yada.
And I still think Dalvin can be a starter. I think he was just put in a fucking horrible situation with a dog shit coach, and I'll say that over and over again. He's a dog shit coach.
The Ravens
regardless of it or not.
The Ravens were able to pick up that guy and get rid of their third string running back.
Exactly.
And if everybody was healthy,
basically fifth string.
If everybody was healthy, I'd say, I was gonna say on the practice squad.
Yeah, he's a fifth string running because when you got Keaton and you got JK, he's fifth.
That's it. Then no. So yeah, Ravens all.
Y'all had. I mean, if y'all were running with the 4, healthy fuckers, Juice is 4th on that list. Melvin's 5.
Yeah.
And how
100%.
dirty would that have been, dude? J.K. fucking Keaton, Gus.
Dalvin Cook. That's
Dalvin.
disrespectful.
That's wild.
That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful.
It really is disrespectful. And
that's
then
just
the
wild.
best running quarterback the league's ever seen.
Green Bay versus San Fran.
You got the Ravens?
Of course.
Okay.
Look, a lot of people are hyping this game, and I don't know if it's because, like, maybe a lot of people are set, like, they got the Niners, and it seems maybe a lot of people are trying to hype this game up as, like, no, hold on. Kind of how we just did with the Ravens and Texans, but I don't want to say they're convincing me to think otherwise, but it's making me think, like, they could. I don't think the Packers can win, but I think we can. How can I word this? If they skate by, barely win, maybe let's say their defense and their offensive weapons playmaking ability won them that game.
Yeah.
We'll say Brock Purdy's a shaky 17 for 25, 150, a touchdown.
Yeah.
Then it's like, ooh, okay. So then now we're looking at, like, what if Detroit gets pressure on them, in the NFC championship, and it's another conversation. So
yeah,
I think the Packers could potentially do a little bit of exposing, but
sure.
At the end of the day, if the Niners would have to play completely out of character to lose this game, kind of how the Cowboys did. And I don't think they're going to get in their head the way the Cowboys got in their own head.
Yeah. Quite honestly, this is the game I feel the strongest about in picking one side outside of the Ravens game. I don't think the Texans will win, but I think the Packers are going to get lit the fuck up. I don't want to call it luck, but having that type of win over a team with that good of a record is lucky, because that team with that good of a record was not that good.
Well, I would say...
And Dak shat himself through 2 bad picks. Well, one was a potential PI. The other one was a bad pick.
It's a PI.
And then, I mean, yeah, sure. Did the Packers offense do enough? Yes. Did the Texans offense do enough? Yes. But, no, I think once you get the Niners hot, I mean, Dallas has no run game, so they're throwing the ball fucking 50 times. The 49ers are different. Purdy can throw the ball less than 40 times, and now it's a fucking multifaceted game. When you're playing the Cowboys, you're not afraid of Tony Pollard or whoever the fuck they got back there. You're afraid of Christian McCaffrey.
Purdy can throw 22 balls.
And fucking win by 30. Yeah. So I think the way that the Packers approach the Cowboys game cannot be the way they approach this 49ers team. Because sure. Because the Cowboys are a one option team.
And it's like the Cowboys on a good day are probably winning that game, 7 times out of 10?
Sure.
And that's giving Packers credit in my eyes.
Yes.
And I'm only saying that because I think it was a lot more than just Packers domination. It wasn't a Packers just dominating it. It was like,
and especially it wasn't a Packers offensive domination.
I mean, yeah, and it was just, I was watching this game just like, what are the Cowboys doing? Like, the whole time.
The Cowboys defense is way different than the 49ers defense.
Yes.
I mean, you're looking at a team that has had, I mean, sure, pressure-wise, line-wise, I think the 49ers have them a little bit. But the Cowboys line isn't bad. But when you go into the secondary, you're looking at way better players, especially in the linebackers and then in your corners and safeties than you are in the Cowboys. The Cowboys were depleted. Deron Bland is just a dude who had a bunch of interceptions. The way that Trayvon Diggs had 11 interceptions and fucking let up the most yards. It's cool, but I don't know. I think if Purdy can just protect the ball, I think they'll be fine.
Tampa Bay versus Detroit.
This one's a toughie, dude.
I'll say this. Because I look at the Lions as actual contenders, I can't really see myself. I can't really see. I can't think of a reason why I'd pick the Bucs, except for it'd be cool. I'll say I want the winner of this game to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. Somehow, some way, if make it happen. I don't know how, but I'd like to see.
But we will have a Ravens 49ers Super Bowl when it comes down to it.
I don't want that, though. That's the problem, Devin. I don't want that.
Because we've been talking about it and because it's been a thing the entire year.
They're going to want their
And you were telling me about that other logo they threw out. That was to throw off everybody.
Yeah, because the Cowboys
that was gone after the first round.
But, bro, I don't want the Niners, if they – now, I might feel different after I see the Niners play the next 2 weeks, but if they make it next 2 weeks. But as of right now, just the Niners' point of view, like, one of the only reasons they're not looked at as a lock for the NFC is because of how we fucking beat them on Christmas.
Exactly.
They're gonna
if they beat you guys, they're a lock for a Super Bowl win in most people's eyes.
They're gonna want their lick back, real bad.
Which is like when you guys won, I was like, if this is a setup, like this is a pre-made Super Bowl, and you guys win in the regular season, that's a fuck you. That's a game over in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Which is the thing I'm afraid of.
But at the same time, I think the Ravens are going into it knowing that.
Yes.
If this were to happen. So, I mean,
if the NFL wasn't scripted. Which the NFL has been telling us all year, hey, we don't script shit.
No, they're not. They just took advantage of the accusations and made money off of it.
Yeah, but
all right.
It's going to be tough to say that it's not scripted if this fucking logo thing keeps happening.
If it happens, it happens. But I don't know. I'm not really banking on the TikTok conspiracy theories for the Super Bowl or for the Super Bowl or for the NFL being.
That's fair, but I mean it's playing out that way. But we'll see. But this game,
Tampa versus
Did you
Detroit.
see that reporter ask Todd Bowles that question?
What?
She was like, because you guys play in Tampa, how do you think you'll take the weather changes when you're playing in Detroit? How are you going to prepare your players to withstand the cold while you're playing? It's going to be below freezing temperatures, maybe near zero, and all this stuff. And Todd Bowles goes, well, we play in a dome, so no preparation for that. It's like, no shit.
Yeah.
Are you that fucking? You're a reporter for the NFL.
What did she say?
She was saying that
when he
they would be
that,
playing outside.
But when he said that,
I didn't hear
did
anything
she go
after that. But probably shut the fuck up.
Oh, she didn't say anything?
I didn't see the rest of the video, but I'm assuming she shut the fuck up.
Huh. Okay.
Because if you're making that big of a fuck up, there's a problem.
Look, I'm going Detroit.
I am afraid of the Detroit defense.
Why? They're not bad, dude. I don't know what your idea of what. And they and Chauncey's back, like they're loaded. They're locked and loaded. They're not a bad defense.
I'm still afraid of their secondary.
Yeah.
Did they take down Matt Stafford?
Mike Evans ACL maybe is what I'm scared of, but
that's fair. But they took down fucking Stafford. Their offense isn't as high powered this year, but I don't know. I don't feel as confident in this Lions pick, but I'm going with them. They should win, but I'd still love to see the fucking Bucs pull one out.
For sure.
Honestly, this game is a win-win. Mm-hmm. I want to see both of these teams in the NFC Championship. Yeah. I think they're both very exciting teams.
For sure. But Detroit, just to me, I mean, just a better chance to not see San Fran in the Super Bowl. Because I think if it's
Yeah.
If it's Tampa versus San Fran, I mean, we're not really
That's
going to talk about
that's
it.
a
Yeah.
yeah.
If it's Detroit, maybe there's a conversation.
And Detroit actually has a running game, so
Kansas City versus Buffalo.
yeah. Fuck. In where? In Buffalo?
In Buffalo. Yeah. Look, I'll say it.
Wait,
I'll
did the
say
Chiefs not win their division?
they did. They were third seed.
They were third seed.
I'll say it's very nice to see one of these teams will lose. So if the Ravens
Yeah,
do come through with the win versus Houston, they at least want
it's good to see this in the divisional round. I like that.
they want to play one or the other.
Yeah. A headline that I hate: the Buffalo Bills will sell Taylor Swift themed food at the
That's
Chiefs game.
okay. Then Kansas City's winning.
I mean, this is a
Look,
what did we do?
I mean, okay. I already was going to pick Kansas City, but I'm going to put it to you like this. I think Kansas City's going to barely win. I think it's going to be a close game.
Like they've done all year.
I think it's going to be physical. It's going to be back and forth. I think Kansas City's going to come out with a win. And not only that, it's going to be a lot better than seeing the Bills finally get over the Kansas City hump and coming in with that confidence in Baltimore. Because I don't want that. So
That is true.
with my hope, and honestly, I don't know, bro. It's just look, the Bills. We do this every year. They do this every year. They go, the Bills are they're it. They're here, and then they play Kansas City in the playoffs and they lose.
Now,
Kansas, what? What's up?
I mean, that one game that I'm thinking of a couple years ago, not last year, but a couple years ago when Gabe Davis had 4 touchdowns or whatever. That game was, I mean, I would have liked to see the fucking Bills win that game.
Sure.
2020 maybe.
I'm not saying I didn't want it to happen, but it's just it year after year we see them get this hype, and we kind of just I don't know. A lot of people are like they're the ones that are gonna knock the Chiefs off, and then it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And I just don't. I don't know. I just don't see it. I mean, weather is not going to be a problem for each team, either team. I think they're just. I don't know. At the end of the day, I think Patrick Mahomes is still way better than Josh Allen, and he's just going to outplay him, and that's what it's going to be. Sorry, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
It's fair. I'm going with the Bills.
All right.
I want to see the Bills. I think that'll be a more exciting AFC Championship game. I hate seeing the Chiefs win ever. I don't want to see any more Taylor Swift fucking bullshit, and I'm holding back words there.
Devin, that's because Taylor Swift is coming to Baltimore and getting dummied the fuck all the way back to Hollywood.
Dummy.
She's getting dummied all the way back to fucking Hollywood, bro.
That would be sick to see. That would be tough.
I can't wait for. I can't
and then
wait.
Taylor starts throwing fucking drinks on people in the fucking stands, dude.
Brittany's like, yo, check this out. She's fucking.
She gives fucking, or fucking Jackson tries to kiss her.
You said if they lost.
You said you would kiss me. Get over here.
Oh God! All right, before we do our report card for the Colts today, did you see what happened between a fellow Commander quarterback and his old coach?
I have the article pulled up. I was about to bring it.
So do I. Yeah, I was gonna say so do
Yeah,
I.
I have the TMZ article pulled up.
So it starts off.
I don't know what happened yet. I was just
so Jay Gruden. Oh shit, Jay Gruden, RG3. So
yeah.
Jay Gruden tweets, "If I ever put a QB through what Philly is putting Jalen through, I apologize. Pick up a blitz!" Exclamation point. And then RG3 sent a picture back with him with like his glasses down. And it says, "Say what?" And then Jay Gruden says, "You weren't prepared, Robert," with a question mark. Like, so I'm reading that as "You weren't prepared, Robert." Like you.
I'm not.
Yeah, no, this is the whole timeline. So it's you weren't prepared, Robert. And then RG3 posts another picture of him and goes, "You told me you didn't know how to coach a quarterback who could throw and run like me. So it looks like you weren't prepared, Jay." Then Jay Gruden says, "You are right. We didn't have a good enough staff. Sorry. Hope all is well with you." But then there was a very quick post and deleted tweet by Jay Gruden.
Yes.
Which he tweeted,
"You weren't good enough.
You weren't good enough. Kirk was better. Cleveland didn't want you. Baltimore didn't either. Quit blaming me." And then another tweet.
That's sent at 9:50 at night.
Another tweet sent at 10:07. Go race a pigeon.
It's a video of him racing a pigeon.
Go race a pigeon. That is.
It's also a Seahawk. It's not even a. It's a hawk.
Go race a pigeon is. I mean, I don't know what else. What else can you say to RG3? I don't know.
Like I've been blaming Jay Gruden a lot for how bad we were, and I blamed him then. I kind of like him. I kind of like this shit talk from him because RG3 sucks.
But we've done this podcast for a while. I don't really remember you ever bringing him up much when we talk about RG3's lack of success.
No, I don't.
Like I'm saying.
Well, I mean, he was a shitty coach. I don't blame him for the lack of success.
Yeah, but RG3 to out of nowhere go.
I blame him for the lack of team success.
I mean, bro, it's just like. It's just we just talked about this old retired quarterback shit or just player shit where they talk a bunch of shit, they act like they're still top elite athletes, and then it's like I mean I don't know. Now he's saying I don't get it because he's still faster than Lamar. So why is he saying Jay Gruden ruined his career? Is your career ruined? You're still I don't understand. I don't.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
Go race a pigeon.
And then RG3 said the pigeon name is more respected than your last name. It's fair. I don't know what that means.
Your and RG3's last name is more commonly known for a cartoon character family's last name. So I mean,
there's no respect for RG3. Like no one talks about RG3 as like a what if type of guy. Only Washington fans talk about him as a what-if type of guy.
And here's the really cool thing.
The league saw how not great he was.
Here's a really cool thing.
But now he gets that what-if.
Here's a cool thing, Devin. If you're a Gruden and you're not John, you look like way better in comparison.
You look like gold, brother.
Like imagine if you were Devin Simpson. You're like, yeah, like my brother sucks. I'm great. I'm a great person. Like I don't know. It's just I don't know. RG3 is just
or imagine if you were like Khloe Kardashian. You're like, oh, my dad sucks. Her dad's OJ. That's what people say.
I forgot that. I forgot that theory.
That's why she's built like a Mack truck.
Stop it. We're not. So we finally get to do this report card for a decent team. Or a semi-decent team, a team that probably won't earn something even close to a 28%. We're doing the Indianapolis Colts, which I got some stats for you. The report card, everybody. If you don't know how it goes, you got offense, defense, scoring, special teams. 40 points total for offense, 30 points total for defense, 20 for scoring, 10 for special teams, and then we got strength of schedule.
What if Taylor Swift was dating, like, Chris Jones?
I don't think... I mean, I think it'd be... I think the memes would be a lot funnier.
That would be fucking hilarious. There'd be so many Combine memes, dude.
Is Chris Jones the one his meat fell out?
Yeah. His dick and balls fell out on the fucking turf, dude.
That's fucked up. Larry Tunsil smoked some weed and his draft stock fell. This guy's meat's falling out of his pants. And, God damn. He sits out.
Well, apparently he ran in just the compression underwear.
Yeah.
He wasn't a full fucking.
Well, a lot of them run. I feel like most of them run in like the
Well, they all have compression, but that was like the underwear that he was.
Okay.
He wasn't running in the full shorts.
So I guess I'm gonna give you these offensive stats for the Colts. I'm a little. I'll see how you feel about them. So the Colts, their offense, they were 15th in total yards. They were 10th in total points. 20th in total passing yards. So going over, just the total offense, passing and receiving first. They were 20th in total passing yards, 3,666. They had 19 passing touchdowns, which was 16 out of the 21. They were tied 16 out of the 21 total. They were fourth best in interceptions thrown, only 10. Gardner Minshew, he threw 490 balls, completed 305 of them, which was the 16th best, which was tied the 9th best percentage, 62%. He was 17th in the league with 3,305 yards, 15 touchdowns, which was 16th, 9 interceptions, which was 8th, but there were 15 quarterbacks ahead of him with more. Tied 7th in amount of wide receiver drops, and he was tied 13th in poor throws. Top 3 receivers he was throwing to, or top 3 targets he's throwing to. You got MPJ, played 16 games, caught 109 of the 156 balls thrown to him, which was
Porter Jr.
Yep.
I've never heard Michael Pittman called MPJ.
That's just what I wrote down, which was 70. He caught 70% of the balls thrown his way, 1,150 yards, 4 touchdowns. You had Josh Downs, who was a rookie. You had rookie Josh Downs, who had 771 yards, 2 touchdowns, caught 68 of the 98 balls thrown his way, which was a 69% rate. So, and he played all 17 games. And you had Alec Pierce, who caught 32 of the 65 balls thrown to him, 49%, 514 yards, 2 touchdowns. So,
is he the dude who got knocked out in the Steelers game?
I don't remember.
When Kaiser somebody
I don't know.
knocked him out. I don't know. Whatever.
I don't remember that. But so I mean, obviously Pittman. I mean, obviously he's the main target.
Yes.
Caught 70% of the balls thrown his way. Now Josh Downs, he had almost 100 balls thrown his way and pretty much caught 70% of the balls thrown his way. Which, I mean, for a rookie, it's pretty impressive. Something to look out for, especially like late round fantasy next year. I might take a snag, but
At Downs?
Well, I mean, why not? I mean, if we got a rookie,
Totally fair.
If we got a rookie that's already this reliable,
100 less yards ish than your boy Zay.
Yeah, but then then you look at the rushing and the O line. They were 11th in total rushing yards. They were 11th in total rushing yards. 10th in total. They were 11th in total rushing attempts. 10th in total rushing yards. 19th in total rushing touchdowns. They did all this. Zach Moss, who played in 14 games. Jonathan Taylor played in 10 games. Zach Moss.
But Taylor was the non-factor for a lot of games.
Well, in Jonathan Taylor's 10 games, he ran for 741 yards, which was 74 yards a game, 7 touchdowns, 4.4 yards a carry. Zach Moss had 794 yards, 5 touchdowns. Taylor had 7 touchdowns, 4.3 yards per carry for Zach Moss, 56 yards a game, 14 games. We're talking about.
I thought Taylor had a worse year.
We're talking about. And
that's a great
year.
We're
talking about a rushing offense that was productive. With, I mean, John Taylor played 10 games. 10 games averaging. I mean, he's averaging what, 74 yards a game. Shit, he plays a full season. I don't know. Colts might be looking at an AFC South title.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought Moss was running the table over there with him.
41 sacks allowed, which was tied 11th out of 21. Tied 9th in holds, tied 8th in false starts. They were blitzed 160 or pressured 169 times, which was the 7th most.
They also beat the best team in the league.
They did beat the best team in the league. So I would say, looking at this, you got to remember this. the quarterback who played all year, most of the year, was their backup and was
Yeah.
not the starting rookie quarterback drafted in the first round, amazing prospect. So I'm like, okay, does Bryce Young have more potential, even though he had a worse season? I think he does in my eyes.
Agreed.
Because Colts aren't looking at Gardner Minshew as their guy next year.
But if I'm Michael Pittman and I get Gardner over AR, I'm ecstatic.
And this is not saying much at all, but between Carolina and Washington, this is the best passing we've seen so far.
And rushing.
Passing and rushing, but they're rushing, obviously. Their rushing dominated their offense, and it was lackluster in what it could have compared to what it could have been.
Yes, exactly.
So I'd say quarterback. All right, now passing. What are you thinking? Because I'm thinking like.
Are we going quarterback or I forget? Is it passing or quarterback?
Well, passing / quarterback. So, but I mean, when you got a main guy, that's who I'm really focusing on.
Do we deduct points for 2 concussions and a separated shoulder?
No, we don't.
Okay.
We don't. We're not. I'm looking at more of the success they had passing the ball without their starting quarterback. To me, I think it makes their grade a little bit better. Like I'm thinking.
Where were they passing touchdown-wise? 19?
Passing touchdowns, they were Gardner. They were 19th. Yes, 19 total passing touchdowns.
I don't know.
They only 9 so Gardner 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, only 10 interceptions thrown the whole year for the Colts.
I'm sitting in the 5 range.
Right? Okay, I'm thinking 5.
I don't want to go any lower than 5.
Neither do I.
I mean, they weren't they're not an explosive, scary offensive team, but they did enough. I think.
In my eyes, I think. Well, okay. So, well, how are you thinking receiving wise? Because I think receiving.
I don't know. It's hard for me to separate
For me to assume Gardner Minshew is going to play this well with this wide receiver group, there's got to be a balance of both of them helping out each other. But there's got to be at some point a tipping point where it's like this might be a decent wide receiver squad.
It's a great wide receiver core.
But
I mean, shit, they were catching. What?
You got two. You had 2 guys catching 70% of the balls, both with at least 100 receptions. Well, Josh Downs 98, but we'll bump it up to 100.
60.
Well, 98 targets.
And then 69.
69%. He caught 68 out of the 98 balls thrown his way. MPJ 109 out of 156. I mean, it's not much higher. But I'd say like a
5.
Huh?
5 or 6.
I'd say 5. I was thinking maybe 6. I'll give him the credit. I'll give him the 6 credit. I don't mind it. 5.
No, 6 is fair.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just trying to think of it still gives us a lot of room for 8s, 9s.
Yeah, no, for sure. Ooh, and you got to think we might come across some teams who it's like man, this quarterback kind of sucked, but look at what the receivers were able to do, and vice versa. So,
every team, Kirk Cousins on it.
Every team, nah, stop it. Kirk was better. Cleveland didn't.
Kirk was better. Nobody wanted you. I'm Jay Gruden. I'm drunk.
Jay
Good
Gruden
night.
Was definitely
You're a pigeon. Go race a pigeon, idiot.
Pigeon. Hey. What kind of bird is it?
There's no way he wasn't absolutely obliterated.
But that's what I'm
getting
saying.
Into an argument that nobody outside of the 2 of them cares about.
It's like yeah.
Both of you guys suck. Both of you guys aren't in the league anymore. This is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. You guys are just one of you is drunk, the other one's delusional.
So rushing for the rushing in the O line. So okay, so the O line They were
kind of cold and a chucking.
the O-line was pressured the seventh most, 169 times. They were top 10 in false starts and holding.
That sucks.
Tied eighth and ninth. Gave up 41 sacks, which I mean, I don't know.
41's not great. I mean, Washington let up 60 sacks, no?
Yeah,
Around there.
65.
Something like that.
I mean, 41 sacks, which was 11 out of the 21 amounts of sacks given up.
Yep.
So yeah, a lot better than Washington. But still like a 5 in my eyes.
Yeah.
Like a 5, 6, 5, 5.
No,
6.
I think, honestly, the penalties really pull them
5.
hard. 4 or 5.
I'll give them a 5 because
Okay.
there's got to be some correlation with the production of their running backs that didn't even play that much.
Yeah, I mean, 4.2 and 4.3 aren't bad.
JT, 74 yards a game in only 10 games. Zach Moss, who nobody was. He's a good running back, but nobody's banking on him.
I don't even know who that was. He a rookie? I know who he is, but I don't know.
14 games, 794 yards. He averaged 4.3 yards a carry, 5 touchdowns, 56 yards a game. I like the rushing a little bit. I like it.
He was.
What's up?
He was a Bill for a little bit.
I like the rushing a little bit, like a 6'5". Like a 6'5", 7.
I don't know if it's better than their receiving core. I think if we're looking at potential, I think what would have been.
They were 15th in total yards. They were 20th in total passing yards, 11th in total, or 10th in total rushing yards. So look at
10th in total rushing yards.
10th in total rushing yards, 20th in total passing yards, 15th in total yards. Look what
Okay, that's fair.
What brought him? 6'5" at least.
That's fair.
But if you're talking better than receivers, you might have to go to a 7.
No.
Are you positive?
I don't know. No, I don't know.
So 6'5"?
That's fair.
If they play the whole year, I think it's way over a 7. I think it's way over a 7. All right, let's talk about what's up.
Yeah, no.
The defense.
If they had...
You want to hear some defensive stats?
I'm assuming it's way worse than their offense.
So they were 9th in total yards allowed, 5,947. The 9th.
Is that good or bad?
The 9th.
Which way?
The 9th most. 9th most yards allowed. They were 7th. They were tied 7th in total turnovers. They were also another stat I looked at, tied 13th in missed tackles. Now rushing and pass rush. So they were 9th in rushing yards allowed. They gave up 2,105 rushing yards. They were ran on the second most. So think about it like this. They were ran on the second most. They gave up the ninth most yards. So to me, that's I look at
that's a good thing.
That's
it's
positive
not
to me.
Yes.
Now they did give up the 3rd most rushing touchdowns, but at the same time, I would have to watch every Colts game to tell you whether or not there was a big pass play that set up an easy rushing touchdown.
Agreed. Yeah. The majority of rushing touchdowns are not from outside the red zone.
They blitzed and then looking at some pass rushing, they blitzed the 31st most, so the second to last most, only 102 times. They were tied, but were tied 19th in pressures, or in pressures on the quarterback. They were 5th in sacks.
I don't think I could name you one defensive Colt.
There was only one team that blitzed less than the Colts, and they were 5th in sacks with 51. 29th in hurries, 5th in tackles for a loss. So they blitzed the second. So they barely blitzed all year. fifth in sacks, fifth in tackles for a loss. They were ran on the second.
The end.
They were ran on the second most and only gave up the ninth, and 8 teams gave up more rushing yards than them. This is not.
These are good things. Why were they 9-7?
That's what I'm talking about. This isn't a terrible. This isn't.
9-8.
This isn't terrible.
8-9.
This isn't terrible. Like I'm. What are you thinking? Before we, I mean, do you want to talk pass coverage first before we give grades?
Yeah.
Okay, so pass coverage, they were the 5th best in passing touchdowns allowed with only 21. They were the 5th best in interceptions with 15. They were passed on the 19th most. 17th in yards allowed. They were 19th in average percentage or quarterback percentage playing them. They were 15th in yards after catch. This defense kind of productive. Like it's not bad because that's the
But
thing.
they weren't thrown on very much.
They weren't thrown on very much, but were 5th in interceptions. They weren't thrown on very much and capitalized on that by not giving up many rushing. They gave up less passing touchdowns than rushing touchdowns. They were ran on the second most and gave up, and the 8 teams gave up more rushing yards than them.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. And I don't know what is, but I think looking at this, I think
already just off my, I think this team will rank higher in the report card than they will in power rankings.
Well, they're sitting at what? Like 18th right now. So,
they could.
They could potentially.
They'll beat out some teams that
are. We got Pittsburgh over them right now, so they might. We'll see. We'll see. But I like the defense. I like it. I'm not gonna lie. I'd say to me the best.
Tuck the D in.
I'd say the best is probably their pass rush, considering the lack of blitzing. They were 5th in tackles for a loss and 5th in sacks. They were ran on a lot, gave up a good amount of yards, but I mean they were still
now. As a non-football person, like technically, what's a blitz? When you're rushing 5 guys, when you're pulling linebackers?
Are you asking me because you genuinely don't know?
Well, like just technically.
Oh, okay. I mean, to me, a blitz is anybody but a defensive lineman rushing the passer.
Okay.
A corner.
So maybe they just
a linebacker, a safety.
Okay, so maybe they just had great defensive line.
Yeah, they may not have had to blitz, which is, I mean, to me, even
better.
But
also at the same time, sometimes when you're forcing pressure, quarterbacks are generally getting that ball out quicker.
But also think about it like this: they were thrown on the 19th most and had the 5th most sacks. So okay, pass rush. Let's start with the pass rush grade. They were thrown on the 19th most, ran on the second most, were 5th in sacks with 51. Blitzed 102 times, 31st most. Second to last. That's like
good.
Bro, like to me that pass rush is like a 7.5.
That's exactly where I was thinking. I was thinking at most that's an 8. 7.5 is not a bad spot. I don't see, honestly, I don't know if there's a reason that could drop them below that, and I think 8 might be a good number because that's not bad, but 7.5 is not bad.
I like 8. I like 8.
That's impressive.
It is.
Honestly think that this Colts team was decent. I'm assuming they lost a lot of close games.
Yeah, we'll see in a few. Now run defense, they were 9th in yards allowed rushing. They were ran on the second most, 3rd most in rushing touchdowns allowed. But they were 5th in tackles for a loss.
Do sacks count as tackles for a loss?
They do. So they had 51 sacks. They had 91 tackles for a loss.
So 40.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
still fifth best.
Yeah.
But I would say, I mean, they were ran on a lot. They gave up.
I don't think that's as good as their
No. To me, this is like a
pass.
5 or a 6. Like a 6.
I think it's a 6.
Yeah.
I think being run on second most and not allowing the second most is good, and especially being ninth, I think that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But they still allowed top 10 in rushing yards.
Yeah.
And we're pretty high up in rushing touchdowns now.
Yeah, 22. Third most.
5-5.
5-5. Okay, 5-5. And then pass coverage. Fifth best in touchdowns allowed. Fifth best in interceptions. They were passed on the 19th most. They were 17th in yards allowed. They were 19th. They gave up the quarterback average versus them 19th best, and they were 15th in yards after, or 15th in yak yards after the catch. I feel like maybe I don't know. They were ran on so much that they didn't have to get past. They just, teams didn't have to pass on them. But at the same time, when they did, they were getting turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't allowing touchdowns. 17th in yards, which I mean is still, it's not it's not top 50 percent. Very close, but it's technically not. It's definitely better than the run defense. I'd say like a 6-5. 6-5, 7. 6-5. 7?
6-5.
6-5. Okay.
I mean, it's nothing.
6-5.
Special.
6-5. Okay. And then scoring.
But I'm assuming that teams weren't, especially when they're within the 10, 20-yard line, they're not throwing the ball as much because they know that they can run on this team.
Yeah.
In the red zone and score with the run.
Yeah, exactly. Now scoring, they gave up the ninth. They were that ninth most in touchdowns allowed, fifth most points per game allowed, 24, fifth most in points allowed. They were eighth in total touchdowns scored, and they were sixth in points per game. So, kind of a
yeah, that sucks.
They kind of balance each other. They kind of balance each other out,
And that's why they went 9-8 or 8-9 or whatever the fuck it was.
To me, it's like a 3-5-4 on the defensive side, and it's like a 5-5 on the offensive side.
Yeah. So 5.
What 5?
Oh, there's 2.
Yeah, offense and defense scoring wise.
Okay.
So I'd say offense like a 5-5-5, like a 5-5, and then defense I'd say what 3-5, 4, 3-5,
3-5.
4. I mean,
none of it was good.
No, yeah, 3-5, 3-5. And then special teams. Yeah.
And maybe if they were 6th in points per game scored.
Mm-hmm.
Bump that number up a little bit.
6.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll give them a 6 on the scoring side or offensive side. So special teams, I mean, I don't know, whatever you want to factor in, anything you want to pull up, but you had Matt Gay kicking the ball 33 out of 41.
Honestly, I pulled up our stats.
He was 7th in points, 4th most kickoff yards. They were kicked off. They kicked off the 4th most. Had the 4th most kickoff yards, 9th most punt return yards allowed, and 18th in kick return yards allowed. So to me, I mean, I'm still a little confused on how we're grading special teams and what is more important than what, and what we should really look at more. I mean, I know to me the kicker plays a big factor in it. At the end of the day, you can give up a lot of yards. How good's your defense? You could kick you could kick a touchback, or you could pin somebody deep in between inside the 20. How good is your offense, or how good is their offense?
A kicker is like, I don't know. It's, do you drive a Toyota or do you drive a 1975 Ford Pontiac? That's not a Ford, a Pontiac, or if you drive a Saturn that's fucking rusted out. Like,
I mean, he was
even at best, a kicker just does his job. He's not doing anything extraordinary.
He was 7th in points. 33 out of 41 field goals made. I would say the special teams is a cool like 6 or 7.
Let me just look at some numbers.
That's what I think. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much to really factor in on that. 5, 10. What are you thinking?
It seemed like they were using the kicker a good amount.
Yeah, I mean, top 10.
Really, the only ones he missed were 50 plus. He missed 5 from 50 plus. 8 total field goals missed. I don't know. 6.
6. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. 6. I'm fine with 6. And then strength of schedule. Final thing to factor in, which we're gonna see really, how much this is gonna impact them in a negative.
I mean, they had a lot of tight games. I remember they had a tight game against the Browns that was good.
So let's talk about it. Let's go through their schedule. Week 1, they lost to the Jags 21-31.
0.
I'm gonna say divisional game. I'll give it a 0. They beat the Texans 31-20. It's a +1 to me.
Really?
It's a +1 to me.
That was with AR.
There's people in America right now picking Houston to beat Baltimore in the playoffs.
Agreed.
It's a +1 for me. And speaking of the Baltimore in the playoffs, they beat Baltimore.
It's a +1. That's
they lost 23-29 to the Rams.
In overtime.
To me, that's a 0.
Agreed.
To me, that's a 0. And then they beat the Titans 23-16. What is that to you?
That's a 0.
Okay, yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that 0. Then they lose to the Jags 20-37.
-1.
Yeah, that might be a -1. And then they lose to the Browns 38-39.
That was a great game. That's a 0 though.
Will we ever give a +1?
D-Watt played some of that game and then had to leave.
Do we ever give a +1 for a loss? Will we ever?
I think, we have, I think.
And this is a 0?
This is a 0, yeah.
Okay. They lose to the Saints 27-38.
That's a minus.
All right, -1. Panthers 27-13. They won by 2 touchdowns. More than their average. Oh, fuck you.
1.
No.
0?
Hold on. I've been using this since we started. They averaged 23 points a game. They scored 38 points versus the Cleveland Browns.
All right, +1.
Bump it up.
All right, then that's a 0 against the Panthers.
I was gonna say it was a +1 for the Panthers.
I'm gonna say that's.
They win by 2 scores, and they score more than their points per game.
You're playing a team that hadn't won up till that point.
Yeah, I mean, cool. Carolina got a cool 13.
Minshew threw for 127 yards. Jonathan Taylor ran for 47. That sounds like a Carolina offensive collapse.
I don't know. See, here's the thing though. Okay, so you're telling me they get a 0 for that, and they're gonna get a 0 for beating the Patriots then?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that's fair. But all right.
They beat the Pats by 4.
I think
It's the same as beating the
that's a
Panthers
zero
by.
to me. To me, that's a zero. You barely beat the Patriots. You score 10 points. I mean, one play could have changed that game. They
Agreed.
they they beat
Is that
Carolina.
a minus?
To me, that's a zero. It's a +1 for Carolina. To me,
Okay, that's fair.
I don't know. I
But I
think it's a
mean,
+1.
it's Carolina.
I know, but I'll give them the zero. I'll give them the zero for New England, which was a win. They got so
I
I'll
know,
give them
but
a zero.
I mean, we're not always giving out pluses for wins. That's not
No,
happening.
but if you're winning by 2 touchdowns and you score more than what you average, I feel like no matter who you beat, I feel like you should get the +1.
No, you're playing the fucking
I feel
Panthers.
like you should. It's still a team in the NFL though. You could go out there and have a 10.
No, but it's a team
game.
that's not trying to win.
Bro, you can't use that logic because if that's the case, we should
The
have just.
team that
If
had not won a
if
game
that's the case, we should have
is
just gave
way
them a 0.
under the
We should have
league
We
worst.
should have gave Carolina a 0 then if we knew they weren't trying to win a game.
That's what I'm saying. I think it is a 0, but that's
We
fine.
should have gave them a 0% grade, not even a 28%. We should have gave them a straight 0 across the board if we knew they weren't trying to win.
And I wouldn't bat an eye at that.
They beat the Bucs 27-20.
That's a plus.
They beat the Titans 31-28 in overtime.
That's a 0.
They lose to the Bengals 14-34, and I believe
That's a Jake Browning -1.
Yeah, that's a Jake. That's a big old Jake Browning.
Was that Jake though?
Yeah. That was Browning. He was 18-24, 275, 2 touchdowns.
Because I think Burrow went out the week before.
They beat the Steelers 30-13.
Plus.
Give them it. They lose to the Falcons 29-10.
-1.
Yeah. They beat the Raiders 23-20.
0.
You're a hating guy. And then the Texans 19.
Wait, you're saying that's a +1?
I told you they were going to re-sign Antonio Pierce too.
No, I know. I didn't even
told
know
you.
who the guy was
you.
until you brought that up.
I told you. It was an important
That is
game.
true,
You
but
gotta
that's
think at this point the Raiders were still fighting for a playoff spot.
And so were the fucking Colts, and
Yeah,
that's not.
I know. But that's fine. I'll give them a 0. So then they get and then Houston 19-23 they lose,
That's a 0.
which we all know.
We know what happened. That game could have easily
We
been.
all know how that game should have ended. What do we got? 2.
But I would rather see the Texans than the Colts in the playoffs, in my opinion. I just wish Tank Dell and Nico Collins was healthy. I just wish Tank Dell was healthy, but Nico's a beast.
And they get a +2 for their strength of schedule. And then their final score, which what am I doing?
Also, I mean, this is the first time we've done a decent team. So this could be inflated. This could be deflated. Who knows?
Well, what do you think? If I asked you before this started, what score do you think the Indianapolis Colts deserve?
If you asked me before we looked into it,
Just from
I mean,
we spent all year talking about every team, including the Colts. What would you?
I think we gave the defense a little bit too much, just in the way that they let up so many fucking points. I mean, I would put them 48-52-ish.
Okay.
Now, my guess for this, 57.
The Colts finished with a 60%. A nice 60%, which I'm not going to lie. I fucking
it's a good
like
spot.
it. I like it. They deserve a 60%. That's what you get. They what 9-8?
Hmm?
There you go. 60% for that
They
dog
almost won
team.
60% of their games.
We can run a quick order, Weddle. We can run a quick.
Yeah,
If we put our brains to it.
We got it.
Put our
That's
brains
easy.
to it and really, really think.
It's very
Speaking
easy.
of thinking, what word do we want to go with?
Balls.
Think.
Thing?
Uh,
Is this a twofer? That's a fucking twofer if I've ever seen one, you fucking dirty whore.
Yeah, all right. I'll take it all day long. Sure. We get these damn ads, man. What do I look like promoting Starbucks? Me? Do I look like someone who needs to promote Starbucks? I don't think so. We got
No,
Derrick Henry.
you're an avid patron.
No. AFC, not the AFC South. It is a running back. He's 6'2" or 6'1". He's younger than 28 years old, and his number is 21 or 20. It's not in the AFC South. 21 or 20.
Brees Hall.
Dude, what the fuck are we doing here?
Let's fucking go. Number 20, baby.
What are we even doing here? We
Fucking
got
go.
Cam Brown. We got a linebacker who is 6'5". He's 25 years old. He's in the NFC, not the NFC East. His number is lower than 45. Okay, let's figure out the division before we even do anything else.
I was gonna say Devin White.
So NFC South, not Tampa. So we're looking at the Saints. What was the age? 25. Ooh.
Falcon.
Oh man.
Who the fuck else is in the South?
I think this
Saints,
is where we fold.
Bucks.
Oh man.
Who's the other team in the South?
What?
Saints, Bucks, Falcons.
Bucks, Falcons, and the fucking the boys. You know who?
I do. I'm just not.
You know who? Carolina.
Oh fuck.
Carolina, bro. Barely a team. Let's figure out what team it is then. You got it. Do you have a? Do you?
Zero. I got.
Do you ever say? Do you have a linebacker for I don't. 25 years old. Who's number? There's like a number 40 that's ringing a mean bell.
I got no bells.
Ringing a mean bell, and I almost want to like take a guess, but I really for the life of me can't think of his name.
I got nothing.
Look up Brian Burns. Look up Brian Burns right the fuck now.
I had nothing.
Look up Brian Burns and tell me what number he wears. Damn.
0.
Damn, I
Number
thought Brian
0.
Burns was number 40. Okay, never mind. Well,
what? I was pulling up his name, and under the drop down it said Brian Burns gay. I don't know what that means.
Whoa.
I didn't type that.
Don't put that on him. Relax.
I didn't type that.
With that being
I did
said,
not type it.
With that being said, though, we predicted all of the divisional games. We gave out a 60% on the Indianapolis Colts report card. That's what the fuck we did, Devin. Next episode,
Brian Burns. That's a different guy.
We're gonna talk about all 4 of these games. Any other off the record shit. I don't know what team we're gonna do a report card on. You got the Saints. You got the Seahawks. You got Pittsburgh. You got.
I'd like to do Pittsburgh. I want to delve into how good their defense is and how bad their offense was.
The Rams. Their season's over, so we could do the Rams. And there's some teams we could look at.
I would say that most teams' seasons are over.
Yeah. I mean, we could do Cleveland. We could do. I mean, if Houston's season ends, we could do theirs. Tampa. There's some teams we could do. There's definitely some teams we can do. But with that being said, are there any words you need to say before we get out of here?
No. Keep trucking. Keep playing golf. Keep farting. There
you go. With that being said, brand new episodes every Tuesday and Saturday. We will be back on Tuesday to talk. Well, I already told you what we're talking about. Divisional round games, report card on whatever team we decide to grade. Yeah, it has been me. It has been Devin. It has been real. We are out.
Protect the ball and suck the D in.